You're watching yet another dynamic episode of Onward with Onrie. I'm your host, Onrie Kompan, and today we're going to be talking about building yourself up. Whenever it comes to presenting something or releasing something, it's very important that you present yourself in a very positive light. It's very easy to get caught up in your own feelings because we're our own harshest judges, right? And we live with ourselves every day. We can't escape ourselves. Whenever we're working on something, we're the ones who are in the trenches and we're paying attention to every little misstep that we take along the way. But when we get out there and we present ourselves to the public or to employers or potential employers or whoever the case is, it's very important that we look past all that and focus on the positive things and bring ourselves out in a very positive light so that we can achieve our goals, right? And the most important thing to remember is that you want to sell your weaknesses as your strengths, because we all have weaknesses. We all mess up. I mean, hell, I'm up here messing up right now as we speak. So, look at ways to basically take the things that happen in your past or whatever the case is, any blemishes that you may have had on your past, and if you have to bring them to people's attention, try and find a positive spin on it. For example, a couple years ago, I did a crowdfunding campaign in Korea to raise money for Eastern Shin Fallen Avenger. And it took a really long time for me to get the book out. And after a while, people were getting kind of upset with me because I hadn't delivered the project when I promised I would. And the reason for it was because I was focusing on actually making the book. So when I finally delivered the project to them, I told them that, this took a long time because I put a lot of work into it and a lot of effort went into it. And, overall quality takes time. This is not stuff I can produce overnight. And people were very understanding about that. And it's that spin, rather than me coming to them and saying, I'm sorry, I suck, oh my God, how could I have done this? I focused on just telling them the truth, that, hey, quality takes time. It takes a while to get something out there and to make it great. All right? And, that brings me to my second point, which is that, when you're presenting yourself or promoting yourself, you want to avoid any kind of negative words or jokes or any kind of thoughts that could be associated with your work or yourself, because people don't always take it the right way. For example, I see this a lot in comics. A lot of creators go out there and, they put a lot, they make like negative jokes surrounding their titles they're trying to promote. They'll say like, why would anybody want to read my comic? It's garbage. Well, people might actually take that literally, and you don't want to sell yourself that way. And I've actually seen people say things like that before. So, I'll never go up to them and tell them that they shouldn't say that, because, they'll, everybody's got their own method of selling stuff, and I've talked about this before, and I think that you need to be in a very comfortable state of mind when you're selling, but I don't think it serves you in any way to associate your work with garbage. Why would you do that? You can't imagine that Stan Lee would have built Marvel into what it is today if he would have gone around saying, hey, don't read our comics, they're all garbage. He just, it just wouldn't have served the mission that he was on, to build up all these characters and make them what they are today. And you want to avoid like negative words too. Like, for example, when you say things like unfortunately and sorry, and don't apologize, and don't sell yourself short when you don't need to. When you have something to say, write it all down, step away from it for a moment, analyze it, and then come back to it and figure out how you can put a positive spin on it, But avoid the negative connotations. I don't think it serves you in any way in the long term. Build yourself up, Stan was great at that, He's the one who coined Jack Kirby as the king, So think about that for a minute. We know Jack King Kirby as the king because of the nickname that Stan gave him. He was an incredible artist, but Stan really built him up and allowed him to stand out where otherwise he may not have, because in the comic book industry in that time, Animators were not really given credit for the things that they were doing. They were just, paid workers who drew comics and made animation. So, those are things to think about. The last thing I'm going to tell you, and this is very, very important, and it's something I want you to walk away with, is believe in your ability to be great. And I say this because even I have trouble sometimes remembering this. Again, we live within ourselves, and we're seeing every step that we take. And we are very capable of getting swept up in everything that we're doing. So much is happening every minute of the day. And even if something big happens for you, it's very easy for you to even forget about it because so much is going on. So you need to believe in yourself when it comes time to promoting your projects. Believe that you put out a great product. Believe it's the best product. Why the hell not? I mean, let's go back to Stan Lee, for example. When he released Fantastic Four, he put World's Greatest Comics Magazine. Was it the World's Greatest Comics Magazine? No, it wasn't. Not until Stan put it out there, and then guess what? It became true. It became the world's greatest comics magazine. Believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to be great. Screw your shortcomings. Everybody's fucking got them. Everybody's fallen on their knees before. I think what people are looking for is to see how you learn from those mistakes, how you learn from your failures. How do you get back up? What do you take from it? That I think is more important and more valuable than anything. And that's all what building yourself up is about. Focus on the positive, get rid of all the negative. It serves you in no way. All right? All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Until then, onward to victory.